Tonight, from the end zone to the fan zone and all seats in between, this is your home for the local sporting update, featuring the voice of the Bradford High School Tornadoes. Welcome to On the Spot Sport News with your host, David Rodgers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, alongside Mitchell Gunner and Byron Bagwell. Great to have you along. But first, I want to introduce the team properly. Here he is. He was the first man to actually cut Samson's hair before Delilah got a hold of it. He also gave George Washington his first haircut. He also had a cameo appearance in the movie Hairspray of 1988 as he played Ricky Lake's boyfriend. And now he is a successful businessman here in good old Start, Florida, guys. He is all wrapped in one, just like Edward Scissorhands. He is the King of Sting, the Count of Monte Fisco, the Dancing Destroyer. He is our producer, Super Daredevil Dave Holland. Say hello, Dave.
Whoa, I can't compete against that intro.
Oh, that's great. I had one for Michael Heater. He actually got a call, so he won't be able to be here with us tonight. But to my left, here he is, guys. Y'all been waiting on him. I will use thee at the end. But first, he actually gave and made the pen that John Hancock signed the Declaration of Independence with. He was actually the executive leader of the Whig Party. Yes, that's right. He was actually the executive leader of the Whig Party. He also was there when Abraham Lincoln, wrote and scripted up the Emancipation Proclamation. He was also a general at the Gettysburg, Battle of Gettysburg. How about that, huh? And also, he is sitting with us here right now. He is
That's right, the
Byron Bagwell, the Minister of Defense.
Good evening, infidels.
And to my right, I can't forget this guy right here. He is a sports legend. He actually ran with Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympics. He was
in Berlin?
He was in Berlin.
Oh,
That's
wow.
exactly right. And then he actually swam with Mark Spitz in the 1972 Olympics. Then in 1988, he ran with Carl Lewis. But before then, he actually got a song wrote about him. Guess what it is?
Margaritaville.
Close.
Pina coladas?
Rupert Holmes. He met Rupert Holmes in 1976. Rupert Holmes fell in love with this guy. He also fell in love with his wife as well. Not that way, though. Just as a people. And so he wrote a song. He wrote a song about you and Nicole. And guess what it was? If you like pina coladas, get caught in Ukraine. How about that? He is.
Never mind.
He is our local guru. He knows it. Countywide, citywide, region-wide, statewide, and nationwide at times. He is our very own Mitchell. Ready? Machine Gunter.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
And I am
The show
Pony.
And I'm the equalizer.
Because we bad.
That's right. Hey,
Nationwide.
we're nationwide. You know why I'm the equalizer? Hey, if odds are against you, who do you call? 1-800 the equalizer.
That's right.
That's On the Spot with David Rodgers.
There you go.
Glad to have you along, guys. I just had shows off the rails.
It's all right.
Hey, Friday night.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night, man. Hey, are y'all feeling good tonight?
I'm feeling good tonight.
Me
brother.
too, man. I am feeling real good. And tonight's show is brought to you by Miracle Automotive Recovery in both Stark and McClenny. You can call Kirk and Kenny Miracle at 904-368-1114. Miracle Automotive, Byron, where
Miracles happen.
every day. Let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the week, which I know you have. Yes, you do. I know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and people, our viewers watching, let us bow our heads. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once think again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time that we have what we call the brotherhood, the new high priests of the Church of the Painful Truth, as we bring you the information that we know, dear Lord, to our viewers, and letting our viewers disseminate that information as they need to, dear Lord. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the red, white, and blue, dear Lord, the most freest country, the most powerful country in the world today. I don't care what anybody says, dear Lord. You know, you put your hand on this country each and every day, and that's the good old United States of America.
Amen.
Thank you for our great, great armed forces, the greatest fighting force in the world, past and present, dear Lord. Those that gave the ultimate, and I mean ultimate sacrifice, dear Lord, for letting us live in this beautiful country. Our young men and women that are serving today, our veterans, everybody that has made this country what it is. I want to also thank our first responders and keep a hedge of protection over them, dear Lord. Our police officers, our firefighters, our ambulance drivers, dear Lord, our paramedics, anybody that's in the first responder field, you keep a hedge of protection over them, dear Lord. That's why all of us can sleep at night peacefully, because we know they're the eye of the night, and they will keep us safe. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day, that it goes in nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Thank you again for just letting us be able to do the show. Anything else that we do, dear Lord, that we do it within your will and your grace. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, you touch each and every one of them, dear Lord. You know what's in their heart, their minds. You know what they need, dear Lord. You're the ultimate comforter and the ultimate healer, and you can make things better. Again, thank you for today. Thank you for the weekend that we're about to have and the upcoming week that we will be having as well, dear Lord. We ask for these wonderful things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says,
Amen.
Amen. Let us stand for our pledge. And I'm going to ask somebody different today to do this. I'm going to ask Edward Scissorhands, Mr. Dave Holland, to do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. All right. Welcome in to the show. Friday night edition, usually a sports edition. It's still going to be Mitchell and Byron and Dave, because you know what? We've got a heck of a guest on tonight.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
Man,
do.
I tell you what, I was watching some of the stuff, Mitchell, that this guy does. This guy knows it. He's got his own podcast, does a lot of different things with not only NHRA, NASCAR, loves racing. Tell him who we got tonight, brother.
We actually have Joe Castello that will be joining us tonight. Super great guy. Has a wonderful show as well as us. You know.
That's right.
And if you never heard of WFO Radio, we're going to talk about that tonight, so maybe you can catch it. And he has different shows throughout the week, and I try to catch every single one that I can.
Yeah, sounds like we've got a great guest. That'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. What do you have for us tonight, B?
Well, this is a great quote, and it not only applies to what goes on nationally, but it actually applies to what goes on locally, too.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if we can get it. And it's one that you've heard before.
Okay.
If my phone doesn't cut itself off. Power is intoxicating, and men legally vested with it too often discover a disposition to make an ill use of it and an unwillingness to part with it. Once again, power is intoxicating,
and men legally vested with it too often discover a disposition to make an ill use of it and an unwillingness to part with it.
Mitchell. Man, you got me on this one, I think, bro.
Around what year?
Founding father?
He was a founding father.
I'm gonna
The
say,
quote was made before the Revolution, though.
but made before the Revolution.
George Washington.
Nope, wasn't Washington.
I'm
That's
gonna
a good
say,
guess.
I'm gonna say Benjamin Franklin.
That's a good guess too.
Okay, wrong though.
John Adams.
Nope.
Dang, it sounds like a lawyer
Either
would
Adam.
say something about
Do what?
Either Allen.
Ethan Allen?
Yep.
Nope, wasn't Ethan Allen. That's a good guess too. I haven't heard that name in a while. You got the Adams part of it right, just not the right
Samuel.
Adams.
Sam.
It was Samuel Adams.
That was in my
Yep.
head.
Sam Adams is the one that said that.
Wow.
Power corrupts.
Hey, well, there you go. Power corrupts, and that's a great quote, Byron. I tell you what, man, we've got a great show, like I said, upcoming for you tonight. And hey, how about this? Shout out to Slice and Dice Barbecue, Chris Davis and Miss Napier, Casey Napier, over there in Lottie, Florida. Got their nice little restaurant there. Man, you've been seeing some of those specials. Wow, I tell you what, great stuff. Go over and visit Slice and Dice. Tell them that we sent you, and you never know. Chris may give you a little discount. Who knows?
You want
Hey.
another quote real quick?
Sure, why not?
This is a good one too.
Okay.
Human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. This one's long before the founding. Human
I'm gonna
behavior
say-
flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge.
I'm going to say Socrates.
Nope.
Dadgummit.
But you're in the right. You're in the right
Caesar.
area.
Julie. Caesar.
No, it wasn't Caesar.
Aristotle.
Y'all are dancing all around this one.
Was it in that time period?
Who's
Plato.
one? There you go. Plato.
I figured. I knew it was somewhere there. That just sounded like one of their quotes. So, wow. Not bad. Took me 3 times. But hey, finally get it right.
Yeah.
If it was a test, though.
I'd have failed. Yeah, that would have been a fat 0.
We all would have.
Hey, you never know. You got A, B, C, and D.
That's right.
That's right.
right.
Speaking of tests,
Right.
I have a website that everybody needs to go to
Okay.
for online courses.
All right.
You need to go to hillsdale.org and you need to take their free online courses,
Yep.
especially Constitution 101.
That's
It will not be. It's going to take you a while to do it. The lectures are 30 minutes a piece,
Right.
and there's a bunch of different courses for it, and it will teach you a whole lot about our founding that you do not know.
Sounds good to me.
Some of it caught me by surprise.
Wow. To catch you by surprise, that's catching you.
These
By surprise.
I am a student of history.
Right.
These guys are professors of government, so things like what we talked about with the Federalist Papers.
Right.
They were quoting off the top of their head specific Federalist Papers and what was in them.
Wow.
And they're brilliant men, and they're quoting brilliant men, and it will teach you a lot about what was going on. We talked the last time we were here.
Right.
I was here about some things that are going on with the 1619 Project and critical race theory.
Right.
And some of the stuff that you will hear from these professors also just completely, utterly destroys both of those things.
Wow.
It's really,
Well, and I tell you what, we can get
really
into
good.
that on Tuesday
Really good.
as well, for sure.
maybe
Hey,
put a link up on our.
we can do that.
Yeah.
We'll put that link up. Hey, don't go anywhere because the Friday Night Quick and Dirty starts right now.
Here is your quick and dirty news update, sponsored by Harry Business Hairstyling, home of the $10 haircut, Deerfoot Village in Stark.
right, here's the quick and dirty for this Friday night. Let's start off as we begin in Bradford County, where a Stark man was shot and seriously injured yesterday. Stark police say the man was shot multiple times inside a home on Oak Street. Numerous witnesses said they saw a white or cream-colored four-door car speeding away from the house after the gunfire was heard shortly after 1 p.m. Bradford County deputies stopped a vehicle matching that description, on US 301 near Hampton a short time later. The investigation is continuing. Anyone with any information is urged to contact the Stark Police Department at this number, 904-964-5400, or after hours at 904-966-6161. Over to Alachua County, where Archer City Hall will be closed indefinitely because a number of employees have tested positive for COVID-19, according to Mayor Iris Bailey. Archer City Commissioners were scheduled to have a joint meeting with Alachua County Commissioners on Monday, but that meeting has been postponed to a later date. Bradford High School has announced the corporate sponsorship opportunities for 2021 as the school gears up for tornado football season, which we're excited about. We got an advertisement opportunity right here, Bradford County Football 2021 corporate sponsorship. There are several available packages for corporate sponsorships for the 2021-2022 school year. Option 1 is $1,000. You can get a banner on the fence and still picture ad on the video board. Option 2 for $2,000. Ad banner on the fence, still picture ad on video board, 15 to 30 second video ad provided by Business Ad on Bradford Tornadoes football Facebook page. And option 3, the $3,500 level. You get the banner on the fence. You still get the picture ad on the video board. You get the 15 to 30 second video ad provided by Business Ad on Bradford Tornadoes football Facebook page. Quarter supporter ad sign on the scoreboard. These are limited on availability, so they won't be too many of those. So if you want to be in on the $3,500 sponsorship, make sure you get a hold of them, and that will be on our page as well. Excuse me. Listen to this one. I've heard about this story because, of course, I'm over in Lake City, so this story is going everywhere. A group of 8-year-old girls from Royal Palm Beach took the Babe Ruth Championship in Lake City, but they didn't get to bring home any hardware. Instead of handing out trophies to those young ladies or medals, since they were the winner this year, the Florida Babe Ruth Softball Organization gave the Royal Palm Beach All-Star Girls team drawstring bags at the state championships in Lake City last week. The girls were even more upset when they learned that the winners in the boys' Cal Ripken League were given trophies. On the Spot covered this event on our previous show. You remember we talked about this was going on?
Right.
So more than 1,200 softball players went to Lake City for the biggest Babe Ruth tournament in the nation. The state championship hosted more than 100 youth teams across the state. Commissioner Doug Robinson said they gave winners in every division plaques and banners in addition to bat bags and commemorative game balls. Robinson claimed in an interview with a South Florida TV station that it was regrettable that some are disappointed in our selection of the awards this year. However, our intention was to provide the players with the recognition they deserve and a lasting keepsake of this year's tournament. Let me go back. Give me his name, Mr. Robinson. Okay, Mr. Robinson, I want y'all to chime in on this. I've got news for you. Let's go back 4 months ago, 4 months ago, when the women's and men's NCAA tournament was going on. Yeah. The men's tournament, man, had all these fancy weights in it. Remember that weight room? Yep. Remember this deal? Had all the fancy weights. And then you walked into the women's room, had one little set of barbells there. Whole floor was just like an open space. It was almost like a gathering space.
Right.
Man, the NCAA dropped the ball on that. However, by the time the story got out, it was too late to fix it. But they fixed it, and they finally got these, the women their rightfully due as well. They're playing for a national championship just like the men are.
Yeah.
Personally, I think those little girls, Mr. Robinson basically in that said right there, we're just not going to get you any trophies. That's what I see in that. Is that what you see?
That's exactly what I
Yeah,
see.
I think
Okay,
that they
go
were
ahead.
untreated very unfairly.
Well,
Yeah.
it's almost borderline discrimination.
Well, and that was going to be my word.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing that I look at this. His statement's disingenuous because
Yeah.
that trophy is going to be there for a lifetime.
Yes.
That drawstring bag is not going to be there for a lifetime.
No.
That's not a permanent.
What happens if you get home and the dog chews it up?
Well,
Well, what happens if you walk in and you got this trophy case and you got a drawstring bag sitting in it?
Yeah.
right.
Right.
And I think the best thing to be done is he needs to get on the ball and he needs to make plaques or trophies for those girls and send it out to them.
Man, there is a lot
Tomorrow.
of torqued off parents down there in Royal Palm Beach right now that want to screen this guy up from the dadgum highest rooftop.
There's a lot of power down there now.
Yes, there is,
There's
too.
Something done.
Look, with all the silliness that we have with giving everybody participation trophies and all of this
Right.
stuff, when you go win something like that, I mean, seriously. When you go win something like that, you want something to commemorate
Sure.
that because you won it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they need something for their effort.
Can you
other
imagine,
than
Dave, when
drawstring.
these girls, they're 8. They're 8, 9, or whatever. Can you imagine when those girls turn 18 and they're getting ready to go to college, and they're showing their friends, look what we won 10 years ago. Or look what I was on the
Well,
team
that's-
that won this 10 years ago.
That's the age where you need to come out like that.
Yeah.
Let these people know
Yeah.
how special they are.
Right.
We all have been in sports.
Absolutely.
How would you feel if you
Oh,
won
God.
a championship and got a drawstring bag?
And then I
would've
hear my
left I would
constituents.
have left the drawstring bag there and told him, here,
Yeah.
I think you need this.
Well, can you put it over their head and tie the?
The drawstring, yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, no, but I get it. But hey, listen, anybody that's listening in the South Florida region or the Royal Palm Beach region, we agree with all you parents. That was wrong. Those girls won that championship outright. They probably beat some pretty good teams, Mitchell, here in this state, and Byron and Dave. I can tell you that. They won it. They won it fair and square. You give them their trophy or their plaque, whatever it is that you're going to want them to give them a
Exactly.
drawstring.
When you
Or give them that as an accessory.
Right. And I hope a trophy company down there in that area sees this and decides to go ahead and make trophies
yeah.
for
Trophies
these
for these
girls.
girls.
Yeah.
That they're winning their championship.
Yeah.
You know?
Or the parents come together in that
Right.
Yeah.
Because those
way
girls,
and
they
get
deserve
them.
that.
Yeah, they
Then
do.
have
know
an
what?
official presentation.
Yes.
with
Yes.
Yeah.
Call out each and every one of them's name.
Exactly.
If you have to get the local
News
fairgrounds or news station,
Right.
somebody, they'll do that. I bet you that happens. This guy right here may not be the commissioner of anything here
I
anymore.
don't think he will. I think the nails in the coffin for him
Yeah.
as far as
I don't think-
being over that league.
them. I don't think they do that in Bradford County.
When you
Ooh, somebody gets strung up.
yeah, when you guys were in high school, did either one of you play sports and win districts?
Yeah,
yes.
I did. Mhm.
Yes.
Me too.
Every
You know what
year.
I got? You know what? Win districts. What did you get for that?
I tell you, I got a plaque, and we got if we won the outright district, you get the big district team trophy that says,
Yeah.
"Hey, you won District 3A, 4A, whatever it is, trophy."
And
Medals?
your names
Medals.
are and your names are engraved on
in
it.
it.
Oh yeah, at medals and pins for your letter shirt, things
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
saying that you actually won districts and went state. I mean, you have something permanent.
Right.
So you can
Yes.
display it
But-
and let everybody else know.
Right.
That's
That burns me up.
you know, the reason I say that is because I found my stuff. I found my stuff the other night. From when I won state, and when I didn't win state, but
Yeah. I didn't want to beat this too long, but I just thought it's the perfect time. I just thought that was wrong that they did to those girls, and they should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
That was
Very
that
was
was
very
very
wrong.
wrong.
All right, let's go on. Now, here's your weather forecast.
This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook and have a detailed local forecast sent right to you.
All right, here's your weather forecast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm filling in for Michael Heater and Austin Stevens. Here we go. We're starting off with our region pollen count. Hey, look at Friday, 1.4, Byron, 1.3 on Saturday. Look at Sunday, guys, with all of us that have allergies, 0.1.
We'll be breathing good.
Yes, we will.
Yes,
that
we
is
will.
the lowest that it has been all year. Monday picks back up a little bit at 1.2, and then Tuesday back up to 2, but it's fairly low to medium, so we're at moderate pollen count right now. All right, looking on to this weekend. Hey, look at there. There comes, what's her name? Elsa. Look at her, how she spun right there, went across, hit Cedar Key right there. Now she's disappeared. We've got temperatures of 88 degrees in Pascagoula, 87 degrees in Nashville, 85 in Birmingham, 90 up there in, that looks like Charlotte, and is that Charlotte maybe, or Raleigh? Hey, either way.
Looks like about Raleigh.
Yeah, it looks like about Raleigh. And, of course, 88 here locally. So, looks like an 80s weekend, maybe low 90s. The weather looks and temperatures look pretty moderate here for this time of year. All right, looking more locally right here. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. As you've seen, there was a pattern. On Wednesday, it was 87 degrees. High, 71 low, mostly cloudy on Thursday with 83 and a low of 72. And look at Friday, we did have some scattered thunderstorms, 85 for a high and 72 for a low, but the humidity was way up there. As you can see, the sun's shining a little bit right there. There is still some scattered thunderstorms, so just watch out there if you're making any plans for this weekend. So that's the weather for right now. We'll give it to you back here at the end of the show. And what we got coming up here is What's the Date right after this commercial break. And now, here's your favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG, Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vellis, my bosses on Friday night during tornado football season. And, of course, our other media partners, that is the Bradford County Telegraph, and that's John Miller, John Ryan Tillman, Mark Crawford, and, of course, Cliff Smelly. Here's What's the Date. These are the sports headlines from the Bradford Telegraph in the second week of July in what year? So Fox brings Stark Kiwanis Club up to speed on racing job. Golf tourney benefiting BHS football set for July 17th. Union football program hosts golf tourney in Stark July the 31st. And Keystone Rotary Soccer Tournament features 3 local winners. Was that July of 2015, July of 2017, or July of 2019? Tell you what I'll do. I'll read the first one, Byron. You read the second one. Mitchell, can you see the third one?
No, I can't.
All right, I'll read the third one.
I can read all
In 1995, BHS graduate Lindsay Fox spoke about her job with the International Motorsports Association at the June 23rd meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Stark.
Bradford High School football program held its 3rd annual fundraising golf tournament Friday, July the 17th at Stark Golf and Country Club. Union County High School football program's 6th annual fundraising golf tournament was 2 weeks later, on Friday, July the 31st, beginning at 8 a.m. at the Country Club.
3 Keystone Heights teams won their division at the Keystone Heights Rotary Club annual 3-on-3. And here's our guest.
I'll be dadgum. All right, well, I tell you what, we're going to pause it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we always want to get our guest on, so get ready.
Yes, sir. We're fixing to put you
For
on.
Mr. Joe Costello joining us. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing today? This is David Rodgers, host of On the Spot with David Rodgers. To my left, I've got our co-host, Mr. Byron Bagwell. You are already familiar with Mitchell Gunner. We have our producer, Dave Holland, here with us. Our director could not be here with us, Joe, but we do have the rest of the crew. I want to welcome you in to On the Spot with David Rodgers and just taking a few minutes of your time to be able to talk with us.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate the fact that you've got a crew, you got a lot of workforce there. You got manpower over there on this show.
Yes, sir, we do. I tell you, it come together about 3 years ago. It just happens, like you say, off the cuff sometimes. Just happens sort of off the cuff. We all gel together. We've been doing this for about almost 3 years now, going on our third year, right? Pretty much. And we tend to think, Joe, that we have a great show, as I know that you do as well. I've watched several episodes of your show and what you do, and you have an outstanding product as well.
It's awesome.
Thank you so much for saying that. I put a lot into it. I work hard. I love what I do. And reaching out beyond the studio to connect with people all around the world that like drag racing like I do, motorsports like I do, or whatever I happen to be talking about on that given day. It's awesome. The technology allows us to do it now, so let's do it.
Absolutely. Hey, Joe, I want to ask you a quick question before I turn it over to Mitchell. Mitchell's got several great questions. So does Byron here. Before we get started, can you tell some people about yourself, how you got involved with this? Do you like any other sports? Are you a big football guy, basketball guy, baseball guy? Do you like other sports? I'm going to assume the answer is yes on that, but I'll let you explain to our audience how you came in and just a little bit about Joe Costello.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Always love meeting new people. My parents are from Jersey. They moved to South Florida to get away from the cold weather. And so I grew up in Hollywood, Florida, a fan of the Miami Dolphins. I love all sports. And the Yankees spring train in Fort Lauderdale. So I'm a Dolphin Yankee fan who lives in Hollywood, Florida, and just grew up loving talk radio and drag racing, honestly. And so I got a job at a talk radio station when I was out of college, and the two things that I loved ended up merging together. I worked at a talk radio station in Miami with a talk radio Hall of Famer named Neil Rogers, who is very, very popular and very successful. So I kind of cut my teeth learning as a producer on his show, while all the while I was bracket racing at my local tracks, Miami Hollywood Speedway, and then Moroso Motorsports Park in West Palm Beach, Florida. So I spent a fair amount of time as a racer myself and chased the talk radio career. So the job I ended up getting was at Sports Talk 560 AM, home of the Dolphins, home of the Marlins, home of the University of Miami. So, yes, I root for South Florida teams, of course, the Yankees still. But love sports, follow as much as I can. The different depths to which I follow things depends on how much time I have available and who's playing well, honestly, right? We've got my team down here. Not everybody's up at the same time, and so I focus on what's hot. But I do love sports. I love following the NFL, the NBA as best as I can, Major League Baseball, NASCAR. I worked at NASCAR radio for several years, and so I've got a very strong background in NASCAR and other motorsports. But, I'm just hoping for the day our Miami Dolphins down here get off the schneid and we can actually celebrate something.
Well, I know, and I agree. I'm a big-time Miami Dolphins fan as well. Of course, up here we're the Jaguars. We're all about the Jaguars. I do have a Dallas Cowboy fan, and unfortunately, hey, Joe, a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Right? Yeah.
Whatever. It's like all of us are not. We got a lot of negativity amongst us all here with our teams, but when Jacksonville's the best team, then you got a problem.
Yeah. Well, I like that. That is great. Are you a Miami Hurricane fan?
Yes. All about you.
Well, me and Byron are Seminole fans, so we got that rivalry going on. Of course, Mitchell.
Oh, wide right.
Huh?
Wide right.
Right. Yeah, you're right about that. Your team has cost us about 5 national championships. There is no doubt about it.
That's right. At least we got that straight, guys. At least we got that part straightened out.
Yeah, we do have that part straightened out. I think both of us are going to be looking good, but I know that we want to continue on talking about, of course, what you do and about NHRA and NASCAR. So I think Byron's got a question for you. So here's my co-host, Joe, Mr. Byron Bagwell.
Good evening, Joe. Can you tell us,
up,
tell our viewers about your podcast and how they can tune in?
Absolutely. Wherever we now are multimedia, just like you guys are. But my core audience, I really believe in the audio-only experience for the hardworking guy or girl out there that's driving over the road in a truck or working in a shop or doing something with their earbud in. I always cater my programs because of my own talk radio background. I worked in a shrink wrap room in a parts department of a watercraft dealership, and the only thing that got me through the day of boredom was, don't get me wrong, I was doing my job, I was getting paid, it got done right, but the only thing that got me done mentally was listening to talk radio and those people coming out of that box. And so I always think about those people. So podcast is available wherever podcasts are available. Right. SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast, our website, WFOradio.com, and countless others. But now we're streaming the show on YouTube. We do, like you guys are doing, you have to record it, right? So I just do it live. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. Our Twitter account, you can watch the show in any of those locations. They're all archived in those locations. But the podcast is for the person that's going to be driving or on the road and can't be watching a screen. Not everybody can watch a screen all the time. They just want to listen and multitask. And so that's who the podcast is for. And we even do unique content for the podcast audience. A sports talk show style, sports collision, show within a show, our Ignition show where we talk, NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, and normal life gripes, as you guys, I'm sure, work into your show, normal stuff that get under your skin here or there, normal rantings of life. That goes on our podcast.
Yeah. We did a little bit of that tonight, Joe, as a matter of fact. So, but we have fun with it. I'm sure as you have fun with it as well. I'm going to turn it over to Mitchell Gunner right here. And first of all, before Mitchell comes on, I got to thank Mitchell for getting you on. Mitchell does a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen, and to all of our viewers, getting a lot of these guests on, makes a lot of phone calls, writes a lot of emails, sends a lot of texts. So I've got to credit Mitchell here, Joe, for the job that he does. Not only is he good with local news, Joe, you ought to hear him with that, but he's good with these interviews and getting these guests on for us as well.
Well, I appreciate that, Dave, but I have a lot of fun doing it. The only thing someone can tell you is, no, I'm not interested. So, and if that happens, you just move on to the next person. That's right. That's the way you have to do it.
That's good.
Joe, I tell you what, you was talking about your podcast, and you're absolutely correct. There's times that I'm at work, I can't watch it. I put it in my top pocket, and I'm listening to it while I'm working. And I tell you, you have some great interviews that you have been doing. And I tell you, I try to tune in every second that I can. But you have a lot of sponsors behind your show that also helps make it happen. And I was wondering if you could tell our viewers who those sponsors are.
Oh, well, of course. And before we do that, I just want to reiterate from the other side of the coin how great a job Mitchell did, guys, because he did. He reached out very politely a couple of weeks ago, gave me plenty of lead time to prepare for the show, and we went back and forth a little bit, provided all questions. Great job, Mitchell. So, yeah, let me reiterate that it was very well done. Job well done. Job well done.
Hey, my producer said, Joe, we think we'll keep him around for a while.
There you go, Mitchell. Excellent work. You know what? What has happened with our show is that we have had some people who are devout supporters, and I think about Frank Hawley's drag racing school, who anybody around drag racing knows the name Frank Hawley. The guy's a multi-time champ, one of the 50 greatest drivers of all time, and he is really the starting place for most champion drivers. Like, if you want to get involved in drag racing, you go drive a car at Frank Hawley. He helps you get your license. But he has created a bunch of programs, and even has a program where regular people can go drive dragsters. And so they got speaking with me, and we talked about the show, and they've been sponsors with us for, I think, 8 years or so. And I really appreciate them. You'll find that on WFO Radio, I don't do a lot of cold calling, put it that way, guys. The people, they know the show. They know the show, they know me, they want to be involved with me, and they want me to endorse them, and I want to endorse them because I know that they've got a good product. And so we don't have tons of different advertisers. we've got a core devoted group that have been great, like Total Seal piston rings, for instance, as you know, in racing engines, from NASCAR to Formula One to NHRA stock eliminator to people with bracket engines out there running at Gainesville Raceway. They're using piston rings, and why not use Total Seal piston rings, because they are simply the best. I work together with Matt Hartford and those guys and have had great success over the years, and so now we create a podcast for them. That's part of my business, is that we create podcasts for people. We'll produce them. I'll host them if they want, but we don't even have to do that. Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal, all of those same places that you find WFO Radio, you can find Hidden Horsepower. They're supporters of us. They're sponsors of my show, and I get to sit and talk to guys like John Force and Cruz Pedregon, girls like Erica Enders, Brett Kepner just yesterday, because of these sponsors. Samtech, a school for kids. How many times, guys, on your show have you probably thought about the next generation of young people and what trades are they learning, and are they going to know how to do anything, right? Are they going to know how to build something, make something, run a machine, program a CNC machine? Samtech.edu does that, and they train the next generation. So I got together with the people over there, and we talked, and they knew that I had an audience of people, some of them younger, who love drag racing, who are hands-on, and maybe they'll become students, stuff like that. And so, of course, I love them. And then Marvin, my coffee guy, who is just a listener of the show, who heard me talk. Get this, guys, you're going to love this. What brought us together? Bacon. Oh, yes, bacon. Everybody loves bacon. He sent me a bacon recipe. I was like, hey, dude, that's a great bacon recipe. What's your story? We started talking, and he has been a diehard supporter of the show. Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. And coffee from around the world, fresh per year. Like, he'll roast it for you, and then he ships it out. 1-pound bags. He does his own hot sauces, his own spice rubs. It's like total bespoke grilling experience. The guy is amazing, out of Fort Worth, Texas, among others over the years. But those are the guys that have been keeping us going for a while, and our audience has just continued to grow. And we occasionally, we've had some people come in with hard parts. We talked with Holly for a while. They're on and off. It's just, it's been amazing, really. But again, it's got to be a good product, because all I have is my word, right?
Right.
And if I endorse a product that is not something that turns out to be good, then I lose all of that. And so I'm very particular about it.
And I don't blame you at all. And I tell you, you talked about Frank Holly's drag racing school. Frank is an excellent guy. His wife, I reached out to her several times, and they have gave me material for car shows that I put on for charity events. I mean, you can't not meet a nicer couple than them. And I tell you, and all your sponsors, like you said, they're very upstanding companies, and you're right, you need that.
Ladies and gentlemen, anybody that's tuning in, and if you're just now tuning in to On the Spot with David Rodgers, we have a very special guest with us tonight, Joe Costello, WFO radio host. He is the host of that show. He is also an NHRA announcer. He is into drag racing, NASCAR, Just Motorsports podcast. You heard him say earlier, he loves all sports, though. Big Miami guy. So again, Joe, welcome in. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Byron Bagwell. I believe he has another question for you.
Joe, over the years, I know you've had some pretty great guests on, but who has been your favorite interview so far?
Oh, boy.
You got it, Byron.
Just say all of them.
Yeah. I don't know. Definitely not all.
Probably pretty good.
Definitely not all of them. There have been some that haven't been that great. But, how do you pick against John Force? I'll tell you, it's more shows that I have had. Like the Force, when Force comes on, I've done some interviews with Force that have been bonkers. And guys, I know you follow drag racing some, but John Force is an American icon. He's like a legend of the Old West. Just an incredible personality, a chaotic personality. He's still winning races. He's won a couple of times this year already. But when he comes on my show, I always know it's going to be a good show, and I'm going to get a lot of information. And he's been very honest with me. That's another thing that I'm very fortunate, is that people tell me stuff that I'm not even necessarily expecting. They'll break the decorum of the press release and give me something early or tell me something that they're doing or that they've done. But I will say this, though. Since you asked a specific question, I'm going to give you a specific answer, which is during the worldwide pandemic, we were all locked down, locked in, unable to go to drag races, and with not a lot of content to talk about. And so that was a time where I really felt like I needed to step up and do something new because my audience was stuck. Not only did I have nothing to talk about, but they had nothing to listen to. So we had to create something. So we created some happy hour shows where we got a large group of drag racers and people together to interact online, kind of a Zoom thing, but I use a different program. And there were two that stood out in particular. One, Ron Tobler, which was, crew chief, legendary crew chief, many-time world champion, crew chief for Ron Capps up until he retired. Tobler had an interesting thing that he did at the races called Wine Night. And after qualifying on Saturday nights, people would go to his lounge and they would enjoy all different kinds of wine, starting off with some really great top-shelf stuff and, petering off to whatever happened to come in the door at the last second. So we did a virtual wine night online. It's still up. All the personalities, people popping in. We were surprising Tobler. He had no idea what was coming at him. It was almost like a This Is Your Life wine night. It was great. That one was a favorite, co-favorite with Beer with Gary Selzy. Same deal. Gary Selzy, Angel, Caps, Chad Head, others. Chad was the first person to use the F word on my show. It was awesome. And we enjoyed beverages. And we worked our way through talking about the good old days of Gary Selzy and all the chaos. And those got rave reviews. People loved them. It was a total let your hair down, non-corporate style, fun beer with race car drivers event. And those are still up on our YouTube channel. And people love them. I love them because it was just flat out fun.
I'll tell you, when you were doing those shows, I found when you had Courtney Anders on, very entertaining. Those shows were great, and it gave people, a chance to still connect, even though there was no racing going on. So that was a great job by you, Joe.
Yeah. How about that?
Thank you. And Courtney, you mentioned Courtney, one of my favorite people out there, and she's done a lot of great things. And not that I should take credit for discovering her by any means, because they made a Disney movie about her life, and Brie Larson played her.
Yep.
But Courtney's got a lot to say, and that's what you need. You have to have something to say. She's got something to say. She and Jason Logan, they were my go-tos, because not every week could be Gary Selzy, They were my go-to guys and gal, and we just had so much fun. We became much closer through that period, and, people still contact me all the time about those shows.
Right. Joe, I want to get into some bracket racing. I know that you like bracket racing. I bracket race out at Gainesville. And can you tell our viewers what it's like from your perspective, getting behind the wheel and being able to go out there and race on the weekends?
Well, I love it. You bring this up, and it's a bittersweet thing. I always wanted to race. I was a track announcer at Miami Hollywood Speedway from the time I was like 16 to the time I was, whenever it closed in 1992. But at some point I had to make a choice. Did I want to race or did I want to talk about other people racing? And I made the choice to race myself. And so I stopped announcing. I put down the microphone and I went and raced. And I did really well. I won a Super Pro Track Championship at Moroso Motorsports Park. I finished 11th at the 5-day bracket race. I won, many individual nights of racing in my 78 Pontiac Trans Am. I think I sent you guys a photograph of that at a car show, not at a racetrack. Don't have very much photographic record of my racing. A couple of photographs here or there. For some reason, we didn't all have high-definition, high-quality digital cameras in our pockets back in the mid-'90s. What was going on, right, guys? But
Right.
I don't have a lot of pictures of myself, which is so unfortunate because we did a lot of good things, won a lot of races. But for me, bracket racing is something I absolutely love to do, whether in a regular streetcar where you just drive into the track, you drive to the track, you drive into the track, you put a number on your car, you make some time runs, you dial in and you race. Like for me, that's the let's go bowling equivalent for the regular person. Like what's something that we can do? Let's go bracket racing. No real commitment. You can be in your pickup truck, you can be in your SUV, you can be in your regular car. It doesn't require anything extra. You just go race. And oh, by the way, you can win money, $200, $300, that kind of deal. Some of the best times I've ever had at racetracks, bracket racing with my friends from high school, where I was a high school track champion, on up. And then, it evolves. It becomes more expensive. How fast do you want to go? And the more you invest, the more pain in the behind it is, maintaining all this equipment and loading up, unloading. You have a problem with the car, now you got to work on it. But just a very fun experience. And now for people who do it, yes, it costs more and it takes more investment, but people are winning hundreds of thousands of dollars now. This is big money thing, and it's spread all across the country, and it's a shame. Now, why is it bittersweet? Well, close to my home here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, guys, I'm about, 4 hours south of you, 5 hours south of you.
Right.
We really don't have a lot of facilities. Palm Beach International Raceway is one, and Immokalee Regional Dragway is another. They're both over an hour from me, so to just dip out and go bracket racing is a little bit more of a challenge. The stars have to align.
Right. And I tell you, I'm pretty lucky because I race out at Gainesville, and it's about a 20-minute drive. I throw the drag radials on the back of the car, I'll hop in it, go out to the track, race. I've had some success out there. I've been a runner-up in a championship one year. I won a championship back in 2014. And I tell you, it's a lot of... the reason why I like bracket racing is because once you get out there and you get to know people, it becomes more like a family. And then when you're able to go to those divisional races, those final races for ET bracket racing, even though that you raced early in the year against each other, you're a team and you work together. If some guy's car breaks down, hey, you go grab your tools, you climb up underneath there, and you help them to get ready for the next round. I just love that atmosphere that ET bracket racing brings. And like you said, big money racing. They just had the big foot brake challenge up in Thunder Valley, Bristol, just last week. And I tell you, there's some big money in bracket racing.
Hey, Joe, I've got some breaking news here out of Bradford County that I need to tell our viewers about, but we're going to come back right to you, so if you'll hang on for just a second. We got some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Road closure alert, Bradford County. Deedon Loop, Southwest County Road 231 is closed at the bridge due to washout and road conditions. Both ends of the loop are open, but you cannot, repeat, you cannot access either side by crossing the bridge. So make other plans, make other ways around that. So that was some breaking news. Joe, sorry about that. We'll continue on with the interview.
Yeah. Do you have another question, Mark?
Out of all the tracks that you've announced for the NHRA, what is your favorite track?
This is one that I agonized over for a while, but now I've got the answer. And there are several that I really, really love. There's a top tier. There's none that I dislike. All of our tracks, you were just talking about the experience of kind of community, where you make friends with other racers, and next thing you realize that all your friends are at the track, and that's where you go to be around your friends. And that's now what has happened with me in the NHRA situation, with the national event situation. So wherever I go, I'm going to have a good time. Wherever I go, I will find a great place to eat, have some drinks at a bar with some friends, and it doesn't even matter. It's a traveling circus of nitro. But there are a couple that stand out. We just came from Norwalk. Norwalk is a fantastic facility, Summit Motorsports Park. It's a true drag strip. That's what it is. It's a drag strip stadium. Perfectly manicured. The track surface is great. Massive grandstand. Beautiful media center. Beautiful building. Perfect place to watch from. as the announce booth is great. Gotta love Norwalk. That's in the top tier. We're going to Vandermeer Speedway. Vandermeer, oh my gosh, so amazing. It's right in the side of a mountain. It's got incredible character. You're right there by Denver. So many amazing things. Right behind it is Red Rocks Amphitheater, a FDR Works project from the Depression era. Everybody goes there. It's amazing. Love Vandermeer. Sonoma, Pacific Raceway's up in Seattle. We're not going there this year. Pomona, I love Pomona. Like, there's no way to not like Pomona. It's right in a neighborhood. There's someone's yard. You could hit it with a rock. There's somebody listening to Nitro Cars from their living room. Pomona's amazing. But my favorite track is Las Vegas. It's just got to be Las Vegas. Jeff Foster and the team over there have done such a great job over the years, and they run their program, and when you get out of work, you're in Las Vegas, guys. Like, what's better than that? Drag racing all day, Vegas as long as you could last, wash, repeat for 4 days in a row. It doesn't get better than Vegas, and honestly, the hotels, the amenities, the commute to the track, all of those things they're just awesome in Vegas.
Right.
And then Gainesville Raceway doesn't count, guys, because that's my home track. I am separating Gainesville Raceway from all of the other facilities because Gainesville, I've been going every year since 1980. I've raced in Gainesville. Like, that's a home track where I've raced. I do not include it in the favorite track. It's like, what's your favorite place to be? You don't say home, right? Because that's where you live.
Right.
Right.
Good, great answer.
Hey, I know someone else who really likes Las Vegas that's a driver, and that's Erica Anders.
Yeah. Wonder why.
Yeah, me too, Joe. I was going to, yeah.
I want to know, have you heard anything about the Door Slammer Nationals from Nate or West? Is it going to come back? Is that going to be a continuing thing the week before the Gator Nationals? And if so, are you probably going to be the announcer again this coming year?
So I cannot say with certainty any information about that because it's not my event, but I can tell you that at the conclusion of this year's event, we all felt pretty good. We had a good time. Nate, Wes, everybody at Drag Illustrated hit the ball out of the park. I was hanging with Al Tucci, which was amazing, and I have not received any indication other than full-on positivity about that event across the board. You know, obviously Wes has the right to hire whoever he wants. I work really hard so that he chooses me to be there, and that's it. But we have not spoken about what will happen next year. But my opinion is that event is going to continue on and be successful in the southeastern part of the country for a long time.
Yeah. I tell you what, I was there covering the event for On the Spot with David Rodgers, and you know, I really appreciate Nate letting me have the opportunity to do that with this upcoming Door Slammer Nationals, which I believe will continue. I'm looking for Nate to let us come back this coming year, and we're actually going to bring down all of our video equipment, and we're after test session or time runs are done, get with the drivers and have them come on the camera. We would even enjoy having you to join us as well, to talk about what had happened throughout the day. And you're absolutely right. It's a great facility to hold the event. Lots of people come out and watch it, even through the whole COVID thing. The place was packed. And I tell you, that track crew that weekend was top notch of getting anything that got on the track up right away. So, eliminated downtime. And I'm looking forward to this coming year and hopefully have that opportunity for us to bring all this equipment out and share with our viewers, the drivers. We have been fortunate here lately with drivers. I mean, we've had Erica Anders on, we've had Lyle Barnett on, we've had, of course, they don't run down at Door Slammers, but we've had Josh Hart, Justin Ashley on, and before the pandemic broke out, we even had Steve Johnson on, and then all heck broke loose with shutting everything down at the track during that time. But I tell you, I'm looking forward to it, and I think you're looking forward to it as well. And man, what a great job that you did announcing there. It was awesome.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It's funny. The way that worked out a couple of years ago, Wes gave me a call very last second, and I like to do things that have to do with Florida, our home state, and I want drag racing to be successful in Florida. I want it to survive. I want it to thrive in Florida, and so we came together very quickly to make it happen, and we made it happen. And he invited me back this year, and we had a really good time. And I really feel that event is primed for success and also very helpful to drag racing in general. The Gator Nationals are days afterwards, right? And there's the Baby Gators right there for Lucas Oil Series action. There was also, I think, a NMCA race down in Bradenton. That weekend there was so much racing going on because the rest of the country is closed. And there's a debate. Sometimes people are like, well, does that hurt the race? Does it help the race? And I come down on the absolutely helps everything to have more events. Number one, to build fans of Pro Stock and Pro Mod and get those drivers more camera time, seat time, magazine time, attention time to learn about their personalities, get them, shake off the rust at the start of the season. I think it's a great event, but I'm a crazy drag racing guy, so there's no way I would ever choose one or the other, right? I'm going to both, and that's what I've been able to do the past couple of years, do the World Door Slammer Nationals, then go up the road to the Gator Nationals and see the East Coast opener, which was the opener of the season this year, and see them all again. And so I think the more drag racing, the better.
Right. I got a quick question, and then I want to turn it over to Dave Holland, our producer.
Right.
Did you stop by Leets Motorsports Pits and get you a donut? Because me and my son, we always take Erica and the crew. I think we took this year 7 or 8 dozen donuts for them. And I was wondering if you was able to stop by and get you one of those Krispy Kreme donuts.
And this was at the World Door Slammer Nationals?
No, at the Gator Nationals.
You know, I do not recall eating a Krispy Kreme donut.
Well, me and Erica's got a little debate. I don't know if we're going to do it again this coming year because we have gave her donuts for the past couple of years, and the Gators has not turned out very well for Erica. So I may venture into taking them something else to eat besides donuts.
Yeah.
Well, he thought about tacos, Joe.
Tacos.
But I tell you, so we gotta come up with another plan to take them food. And of course, I asked Courtney. I said, "Hey, Courtney," I says, "Do you want a donut?" No, thank you. I don't eat donuts. So we might get her a vegetable tray.
Health advisor. Make less bad choices is the Courtney Ender's rule. And that's all she said was make less bad choices. And a Krispy Kreme donut is a bad choice.
So we're going to take her a vegetable tray this coming Gator Nationals.
Yeah, try that out.
I like that. I don't know, whatever she likes. But then again, you just put 1 on a plate and then you put 3 on a plate and ask me to choose. And then all of a sudden, I'm eating a donut.
I hear you, Joe.
We're going to turn it over to our producer, Dave Holland. He's got a question for you there, Joe.
Hey, Joe, how you doing? This is Dave Holland, producer of the show. Could you tell our viewers what WFO stands for and how you came up with that?
Absolutely. Is this a family show? We got kids out there?
No, we got not too many. Not too many.
It's an adult show.
It's an adult show, so we can go with it, Joe.
Ha ha. No, I appreciate it. But listen, there's a real legitimate answer to this. It's a joke. Wide freaking open is really it. It's a metaphor for full throttle. Wide freaking open. Now, you can use the F comes into question very often. People are like, what does it mean? Does it mean the F word, or does it mean freaking, or does it mean fast, or all of those things? And it means all of those things depending on who the person is saying it and the situation they're saying it in. Where it came from is actually the interesting part. I was doing a show on NASCAR radio, on XM satellite radio, many years ago. And I went from South Florida Talk Radio to XM satellite radio, NASCAR radio, before they had 2 million subscribers. This is when NASCAR was over there. And I was doing an interview with Ed Hinton. Do you remember Ed Hinton from the Orlando Sentinel? He was a very well-known NASCAR columnist. He wrote a book about Earnhardt called "From the Birth of Speed to the Death of the Man in Black," which is a really good history of Ormond Beach and Daytona and Earnhardt. And he created a scene where Earnhardt is in the back booth of like the honky tonk bar where everybody goes after, practice. And it was 1980 or something. And somebody asked Earnhardt, "Hey Dale, how's your car running?" Or "Hey Dale, how you running?" And this is in the book. And he goes, "WFO." And so I'm reading this on the air, and we all love Earnhardt. Like, who doesn't love Earnhardt to this day? Like Dale Earnhardt, talk about a legend, right? I think, John Force, Dale Earnhardt. My goodness. And so I said, WFO. Wow, that's cool. And it just, stood out in my mind. And all of a sudden, the listeners started to call. And they started to call in, and they started to go, WFO, hey, WFO, what's up, WFO? And all of a sudden, it became this thing.
That's how it starts with us on some of our stuff.
That's the only way things can happen. You can't force something to happen. It has to just happen. And it just happened. WFO. And so WFO Radio, WFO Joe, WFO became a thing. But, where did WFO really come from? Well, where did Earnhardt get it from, right? And the answer is, because we've done the research now, so you don't have to. The motocross, supercross guys were saying WFO for a while. How are you taking the corners, that kind of stuff, WFO. But it goes all the way back to steam engines. Steam engines have these, and you guys might know steam engines better than me, and if you're steam engine experts, by all means, stop me. But a steam engine has a governor, these big, round steel balls, I guess, that are on the end of these rods. And as the steam engine spins, the rods, they go out because of the centrifugal force. And when they're max throttle, they govern the engine by being out. And these giant balls, they're like a weight, right? And when the weight extends fully out, that is max throttle. And there's your WFO. The weights are fully out. So imagine a steam locomotive, they're shoveling coal into the burner or whatever it is, and the guy's like, "Yeah, how's we going?" The guy's like, "WFO!" And that's WFO. Also,
that's really educational. Thank you, man.
And there's another one more, since I got this one all figured out. I did this research so you don't have to.
Yeah,
balls to the walls. Balls to the walls. Everyone's heard balls to the walls.
Sure.
Talking about body, no. The same weights in a steam engine, the balls are to the walls, as in they are spinning fast enough that the centrifugal force has got them all the way to the side of the unit. The balls are to the walls, as in full throttle, wide open, 100%. WFO.
Very cool.
I like that. All right. Don?
Thank you.
Joe, before we let you go, can you tell our viewers how they can tune into your show and how they can pick up those WFO stickers?
Absolutely. Love giving out stickers, and I will mail stickers to anyone that sends me a self-addressed stamped envelope, so that I don't have to do the busy work of writing your address. You do that to yourself. You put some stamps on it, and then you stick it in another envelope, and you mail it to my P.O. box, which is on my website. The best way to find my show is to go to WFOradio.com. That is the website, WFOradio.com. From there, you can select, you guys know how it is, there's 100 different methods. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Player FM, and everybody uses something different. Or you could just go onto the website. You want to watch our video stuff, you can go to our Facebook page, WFO Radio NHRA Drag Racing Podcast, which you can find. Just type in WFO Radio. We've got a group. We've got, you got to have 100 different things going on, and we have 100 different things going on. And so our audience is in all these different little places. But WFOradio.com is going to get you there. We post all of our interviews, all of our videos. You can find our sponsors. You can go to the WFO store and get yourself some free stickers if you send the self-addressed stamped envelope to the address there. And that's the best way to get a hold of us. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as WFO Joe, which is my personal stuff. We blast the show out there on our other social channels. But my personal stuff, WFO Joe, you don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get pictures of cool cars, or you're going to get me at the airport, or you know how it goes with the social media these days. It's a good place to spread whatever you got going.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Joe, thank you for coming on with us. It's been a great interview. You have been a great interview with us, and I just want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule with everything that you got going on to come to talk with us here on the Spot with David Rodgers. But I want to leave you with one final question here. I know you've been doing this for a long time. Was you ever a DJ? Did you ever do any radio play-by-play? The reason I ask that is because this is how I got involved in the business. I'm a DJ by trade. I have my own little DJ service here. It's called Boogie Nights DJ Service. Done a lot of weddings, done a lot of things. And just here the past 6 years, I've gotten into the radio play-by-play, and I'm the voice for the Bradford High Tornadoes here in Bradford County. And I just wanted to know your background in that. I mean, do you have sort of a similar background, or did this just come to you naturally? Did you just luck up and get into it?
I don't know about that. I definitely, as you probably know, Dave, that people that talk a lot are the people that talk a lot, right? We don't know why. We just do.
We just do.
I like to think we're friendly, or we're curious, or we've got a lot of interest and personality that's got to come out, whatever the reason is. And that's the type of person I grew up as. I was always very interested and curious, and my dad was a Marine Corps drill instructor, and so communication was important. Clear, crisp communication was always important. But I did morning announcements in my high school. I had a college radio show where we played music, alternative, and hip-hop early on. This is in the early 90s. And the idea that you could make money, like an endless, by weaving a web of words, really you can do that? And yes, people did. They made big money. And so I focused on nobody, I don't know that anybody's making big money anymore unless you're one of these top dogs. But I always focused on that. And yes, I have had the opportunity to do some play-by-play. Obviously, drag race announcing is play-by-play just in mass for drag racing. My favorite thing to do, though, is topical talk radio, honestly. I love the idea of doing a talk show. The problem with that is you're at the will of the radio station. And you might have to move a lot. And I don't want to move. I don't want to move out of where I live here in South Florida. My parents are nearby. I live in paradise. Everybody is paying a ton of money to fly to where I am so they can spend 3 to 5 days. I'm staying here. And so that's why I do the online show that I do. It's drag racing. It's worldwide. It's something I love. It's something I care about. It's fun. We have a great time. I get to put the word out about stuff that I think is good or bad or otherwise. It is great. But that's kind of how I got into it. I just continued doing what I always loved to do, and there's been work for me. I've been fortunate to do some television with Performance TV. The NHRA has me doing their social media stuff. We do special shows for NHRA's Facebook page and YouTube channel, Attention in the Pits. There's a lot of stuff out there, and now that social media is so big, you don't even have to be on a radio. You can do your own stuff, and that's what I've chosen to do, is to be my own boss and work for myself and ride this train, baby. Ride it till the end.
That's exactly right, Joe. Great answer. That was a great answer. I tell you.
But hey, question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, let me turn the tables on you because I always like to do that. You know, you guys are following NHRA drag racing. We're getting ready for the big Western Swing, and just like that, I want to commend you for doing a show where you talk about drag racing. Drag racing is so filled with compelling and interesting people and characters and rivalries and all this stuff. So I want to know, what do you guys think is going to happen in the remainder of this season of Camping World Drag Racing? Like, does John Force have what it takes to win a 17th championship? Erica or Greg Anderson? Who's going to come out on top in that season-long battle? In Top Fuel, Steve Torrance? Should anybody else bother to show up? Is someone going to knock him on the top of the deal? What do you guys think?
I will let Mitchell answer this question too, but me personally, I'm a big Erica Enders fan, so I hope Erica goes on to take this thing. And hey, everybody says, David, I know why you like Erica. Yeah, I know she's got the looks, I get it, but it's not that. I just love her competitive spirit and the way she drives.
Yeah. John Force, I my money's on him to take that 17th.
Well, you know, speaking about John Force, their team is gelling right now. They got a couple of wins, but Cruz is starting to get hot, and I've actually seen where Cruz Pentagon. So if everybody doesn't know who I'm talking about, funny car driver as well. They were gelling really well with their team at Gainesville Raceway, and you know, I looked at them and I said, you know what, they're probably going to pull out a couple of wins this year. And of course, just past couple of weekends, Cruz wins, and very well deserved. That team has been struggling for a while, and I like to see someone who's been struggling like that to start coming up on top again. And so I think John needs to look out for Cruz, and don't forget about the guys from Don Schumacher Racing, because you can't never count them out. But I think John's probably got a pretty good shot, or Robert Height. When you look over into Top Fuel, I tell you what, Steve Torrance, them guys, they're on fire every weekend.
Yeah, my money's on them guys.
They have fun, and I think that's the main thing. The reason why they're so successful is they have fun. They're more relaxed, and when you get in that atmosphere and everybody's gelling and you're relaxed, great things can happen. And so I look for Stephen Torrance to turn around and win again this year. As far as Pro Stock, I think the top two people are Greg Anderson and Erica Anders. And it wouldn't shock me going out to the Western Swing that Erica picks up at least two more wins while out there. They're just one of those teams that actually later part of the year they really catch speed and they start winning. And I think that's going to continue there with Elite Motorsports with her. And when we get over in Pro Stock Motorcycle, the Harley guys, well, they're not Harley guys no more. They run Buells.
Right.
But you can't never count out Matt and Eddie or Angel. I mean, they're still a little ways down in points. But you can never count that camp out. And I tell you, Matt Smith, he's on top right now. Looking really good. They have Angie Smith's motorcycle as well, so they can get a lot of data from each other, them being in the same camp. So I think probably Matt Smith will come out, but I think starting the next season, I think you're going to start seeing some other people, say like Steve Johnson. I think he's going to come out running with that new engine program that him and Jock has got going on. So, but my thing is, my best classes that I enjoy the most, I like the nitro cars.
Right.
But I love Pro Stock car, and I love Pro Stock Motorcycle because if you count the top 16 that gets into the field, there is not very much a separation when it comes to time.
Right.
And everything in that class usually is won by off the tree. So it's the driver getting that reaction time down and being able to win. Like Erica did a couple of weeks ago on a hole shot. She put a 005
Right.
to Greg Anderson, and it's hard to beat. She's one of the best in the business, and I know she struggled a little early on. But that's my predictions of this coming to the end of this drag racing
Sound really
year.
good.
Great job. Love it. No, I that's why we are all involved. You got to care. You got to have a reason. You got to have somebody you're pulling for, maybe even someone you're rooting against. Who knows? But I can't disagree with anything you guys said. It's going to be fun to watch.
All right. Joe, thank you very much for joining us here on the spot with David Rodgers. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Again, wide open anytime that you want to call into the show. If you watch the show and decide you want to call in, generally we have our phone lines open tonight. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with that, but anytime that you want to come on, get a hold of Mitchell or any of us, and we'd love to have you on as a guest again.
Maybe near the end of the drag racing season, maybe we can actually go with live video. Have you on, have Courtney, have Erica,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
maybe a couple other drivers, because we could probably fill in a couple other boxes and just have like a
round table.
Round table of the
Yeah.
season and a review like that.
I appreciate the passion. Yeah, absolutely. I'm down to do it. If you listen to the show, I like going on other people's shows where I don't have to. It's like going for a ride, right, without having to drive.
Right.
You're
right.
That's right.
All right.
Make comments. It's great.
Joe, thank you very much.
Anytime, guys. Let me know.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. God bless you. Be safe in your travels. Tell everybody we said hello, and we hope to talk with you real soon.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one, Joe. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Joe Costello there, radio host of WFO, NHRA announcer. What a great interview that was, Mitchell. I tell you what, a lot of great information. I love seeing it from our side.
Right.
We talk to race car drivers and they tell us how it feels inside the car and getting ready and the anticipation. Yeah. But how about the guy calling the action, seeing it from the other side, like we do? I tell you, that's why I love calling football games. I love, and what he's doing, and I didn't really get a chance to talk to him about this, he's painting a picture.
Right.
He's painting a picture for his viewers that aren't able to see or watch. He's painting that picture. And that's what I love about doing tornado football, because I love painting that picture. Yeah. How many times have you said, David, wow, it's like I'm right there. Yeah. It's like I'm right there in the red seats at a tornado football game.
Yeah, I'm sitting in my car listening to you on my radio.
On your radio. And that's what's so great about that. I tell you, great job, Mitchell, man, bringing this guy on. He's very knowledgeable.
And that was the whole thing, is to get somebody who does basically pretty much what we do and see his side of things. Yeah. And, and also kind of promote his show as well, because with promoting his show, he will help promote ours.
Absolutely. That's
the way it goes.
And
it opened up opportunities. Maybe later on down the road, he'd be say, "Hey, Mitchell, do you know how to get a hold of such and such?" Sure, I got the phone number right here. Here's the phone number. Or I can call and have them get in contact with you.
And guys, I think we talk about when we do this show, we talked about it a little bit today before we came on the show. Of course, Joe having his own show. We talked about Hot Topics with Z and Tuck. Actually, Ray J is on. We talked about them. We all network. Right. It's not really a competition. It's what product do you bring for your particular viewing audience? Right. Your viewing audience can be, Byron, 10 or 12 people, or it can be 12,000. I mean, it just depends what you bring. And, we talked about this with Z and Tuck. It's not a competition thing. It's what you bring to your particular audience. His show's from Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Joe's show is from down South Florida.
Hollywood, Florida.
Yep. And, we're up here in northeast Florida, if you really want to call it. It's not even north central Florida. It's really northeast Florida where we're at. So, we've all got our demographics and our regions and everything that we cover, and we cover different topics. Hey, everybody, he knows this, everybody's not interested in NASCAR or NHRA or whatever. Right. Everybody's not interested in football.
And that's
so we all bring it, or politics, or local, or whatever.
And, a lot of times we have had people on here that are NHRA drivers, but I do try to go outside the rim, even though that, I'm a big NHRA guy. So, I mean, we've had Jamaican.
How about that?
Andrew Riley, Jamaican hurdler, Olympian from Reno Games. And, I'm sad to say that he did not make Tokyo. But we had the opportunity with him. We've had the coach from Columbia High School that played for the South Carolina
Florida State.
Florida State.
Played for
Florida
the
State.
Rams in Carolina.
Yep.
That would be Coach Brian Allen. We've had Coach Tomlinson on. We've had our local politicians on here.
We've had Kat Kamick.
And
we're hoping real soon. I'm going to go ahead and let
let's let the cat out of the bag because we want it.
Hopefully in the next week or two, I'll get a response back, and we're going to try to have Marco Rubio on. I actually got in contact with somebody just the other day that can possibly make this happen, so we're looking forward to that, so he can actually tell everybody what bills are being on the floor of the Senate, and, also Marco Rubio's will be running for office for next year, 2022. So we'd like to bring him on and talk a little bit about that. But, the NHRA thing just comes easy for me because I love the sport. And as you could tell while I was talking about how the season was going to wrap up, you could see the emotion and stuff,
Well, and what you're doing too, Mitchell, whether you realize it or not, is like with football. When I draw plays and do this, I'm educating you guys, which you already know, but I'm going into it a little bit deeper, showing it from a different aspect. What you're doing is you're teaching me, I'm sure you're teaching Byron, and you're teaching Dave and Michael that side. There was some in-depth stuff, man, I didn't even know about NHRA. And then, you started bringing these guys on, man, and I'm like,
well,
what is this?
Well, the NHRA, it's a very unique motorsport. It doesn't get all the sunshine and all that stuff like NASCAR does, Formula One or Indy. But to me, it's just as important as a motorsports organization as anybody else. And so this is our way of shining light on a particular sport that doesn't get that much notoriety.
Right.
It's our chance to also shine light on other people who participate in other types of sports. Right now I'm also working on bringing an Xfinity driver on that also, my brother knows.
That's right.
So we're working that way to try to get that individual on here as well, and hopefully all works out. It's about marketing ourselves as well. We want to market ourselves well, and we want to shed everything in good light.
Yeah, Byron, you was in.
Well, you talk about an HRA. If you would have asked me these questions when I was a kid, I would have known a little bit more about it.
Absolutely, I agree.
Because of people like Shirley Muldowney, and Big Daddy Don
Garlitz.
And some of the other John Force, some of those Bernstein, some of those people from that particular time.
Yeah.
But I've branched off into other sports that I like, and I can tell you more about them now than I can NHRA.
Right, because you just didn't watch it as much, and it's not like they've got now where they'll do some lives, but drag racing, sometimes if you have an oil down, the track's down for an hour. Like in a football game, someone gets injured, they're off the field in a couple of minutes and the action's back. Right. So, you have to look at that type of stuff.
I'm glad you brought up that point because to me, you're right. If there's something wrong with the track or you get a heavy downpour or something goes, now you got a big time delay.
Right.
And I think already, if the action's cooking, it's like, oh, give me more.
Yeah.
But once that delay comes, it's like,
and it really does affect.
and it's hard to get back, especially when it comes to, maybe NASCAR and NHRA. It's like, man, you gave me all the action, and all of a sudden this happens. Now I've got to sort of climb my way back in it.
Yeah, you go down to the store to buy something to drink.
Yeah.
You run into somebody, talk for an hour, and by the time you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, weather is the biggest downer when it comes to motorsports. Of course, some of the Indy cars and Formula One cars they run in the rain, and there's a couple other different type of racing associations that run in the rain. But NASCAR, if they're not on a road course, it's a delay. Like the past Daytona 500, there was a 5.5 hour delay.
Yes.
I was there.
Yes.
Waiting up underneath the stands for 5 hours before the action would pick back up. But,
Right.
You know,
But you stuck it. You hung. You
Yep.
stuck it. But how many times did you probably say, "Ooh, man, maybe we can get home and I can catch the rest of this at the end on the TV."
well, I should have listened to Zane while we were there. Because he's like, "Hey, Daddy, let's go get a motel room, and when they start racing, we can come back down here."
Well, that's
an 8-year-old telling
An
you that.
8-year-old
I
telling you
should have
that, yeah.
listened to him on that one because motels were available because there's only
Yeah.
50%
capacity.
So you could pick any hotel there in Daytona at that time to go stay at. And the rates were still low.
Want to get into a couple of things before we shut down the show. First of all, if you heard what was going on, Mitchell did a great job trying to talk to this guy and doing his part of the interview. Me and Byron's going over there going, there's beep, beep, beep. We actually lost our second computer, ladies and gentlemen, that actually had the what's the date on there. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. For everybody that was on tonight, we put them all in the hat for the drawing. It's fair enough.
Sounds
fair
good.
enough. So if you were watching the
boy.
show tonight, we got your name right here. Hey, we put your name in the hat for July. Speaking, somebody asked me, do we have a winner? We don't have a winner just yet. Let me tell you why. Remember, Elsa came through.
Yeah.
We canceled the show on Tuesday. Mr. Heater, we'd have probably done the drawing tonight, but he has his fire hat with him with all the names in it, and he's got an emergency that he's dealing with. As a matter of fact, we read it off as breaking news. That's where he's at. So we will do that drawing on Tuesday for that $25 gift card.
And our next show, tune in, and we'll finish the what's the date that we started tonight.
Yeah, we can do that, or like I said, we gave everybody a free pass. So if Michael wants to create, I'll leave that up to Michael.
Yeah.
He's the writer. I'm okay continuing this one, or if he wants to write one up for Tuesday, I'm okay.
I tell you what we should do.
So
I say we go ahead and read that Tuesday night. All these
Yeah.
people's already entered, so they know what the correct answer is.
they can
And
get
then
a
we
chance
do-
to get
And
sure.
then we'll do.
Yeah.
You got a couple of the
Yeah.
questions out. I was curious to see what the answer was.
Yeah, all right. So what we'll do is
Reread it.
We'll reread it. Your guy's already in, and if you get the correct answer, you may get
You
two
get
times in
That's
there.
right.
There you
And
go.
within a 3-day period.
That's called a double whammy.
A double whammy. So I want to read off. Noah Gibson's in, David. Miss Shirley Bagwell's in. Hello, Mom, by the way. Sharon Pettiprin, the model, says it's good to see us. She's in. Roy Jackson's tuning in, so he's in.
Yes.
Joseph E. Sayers, you're in. Todd Jordan's in. Pepper Autistic is in. Benny Jackson is in. Look at Sonia Hodges Stack is in. Austin Stevens, can he win? No. Sorry, Austin. But
Wait a
I'm glad.
You said everybody that was watching the show tonight.
Oh, so here we go. As soon as I see, or let's see how this works out. Let's see how this works out because it's coming. Tiffany Clark Ford is on. Lydia Morris. You remember what we talked about earlier about, she says, that's horrible. They deserve more than a bag. That's pitiful.
It
Hope
is.
they get what they really deserve to get for all their sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Most
And
certainly.
yeah, absolutely. Noah Gibson says, not discrimination, maybe sexist per se. Got an answer to that? You agree with that?
Wrong is wrong. It was wrong.
See, to me, that's the way I look at it.
Whatever they gave those boys that won their championship, they gave them trophies. Those girls deserve those trophies as
Amen.
well. Because
Absolutely.
it's just as hard for them
Yeah.
to win a championship as it is for the boys.
Absolutely.
Pepper Autistic says, Sharon Pettiford, I have a problem with my back. Part of my L2 and L3, and she's in a lot of pain. Well, we pray for you, and hopefully that you get treatment, and hopefully this gets better for you. Now on to what on earth is with football, because I'm catching it now on Thursday and Sunday. What is he catching? Noah, can you be more specific on that? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
We're talking about NFL. The NFL is playing on Thursday and
And
Sundays
Sundays
for a
anyway,
while.
and Monday nights.
And Monday nights.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Flooded Creek, he says, too. Sean Bergen was just there. He's watching. Robert McGee, of course, they all had guesses, but you're in, Robert. Roy's in. Benny's in. Pepper Autistic. Byron Bagwell. I am fine, thank you. Thank you for your concern. Just in a lot of back pain, she says. All right. Sharon Pettiford, bad back. Now, doctor just says not to pick up more than 5 pounds of that. If can't go there and go lower, then just whatever. She said, thanks for asking. Big Kevin L was watching. David Versace, you're on. You're good. What's happening? We gave that breaking news. Jeff Riggins is in from Lake City. How about that? What if he wins the $25 gift certificate?
Hey.
He can come from, actually, Brantford. He lives in Brantford. He can come up. Speaking of Brantford.
I think you're going to have to mail that one.
Well, no, I can give it to him at work.
True.
Hey, now, speaking of Brantford, we got to go. Have y'all ever ate at a place called Sisters over in Brantford? They got one of the best seafood deals on Friday nights that you'll ever want to be.
You're talking about the one that's right there on the right.
Yes,
Before you get to
that's
Swanee.
Swanee,
Then
yes.
what are we doing here? Let's go.
I know it. You ain't kidding.
Is that like
I
a
know
buffet or?
There's another place
I
up
know
there
another
too.
really good place that's right on the Swanee River too.
Yes,
Is that a buffet or?
it is.
Seafood buffet?
Oh my God, yes, and it's. We'll go. We'll plan on going. We'll go over that way.
What night is that?
Friday nights.
Oh, we're not doing the
Show next Friday. I know it. I was thinking the same thing, but
Can't
I think
go.
these guys on call. Fast Eddie Dorman's on. You're in. Dave Holland Jr.'s in. Byron I said everybody watching, didn't I? I said everybody watching, so if I put Austin in, I've got to put Byron in. Oh, boy. All right. You're in.
And speaking of Fast Eddie, you know he passed
Yeah,
away.
he passed away.
And so our thoughts and prayers
Yeah.
are to that family. And as you're aware now, it's been posted on Facebook. I was going to wait till the family had posted something.
Yeah.
But we also lost Joe Cox, super great guy. Was over the maintenance department for the Bradford County school system.
Yes.
I came to a lot of my car shows, you know, so we would need to think of their family and keep them in our prayers as well.
Right.
Wonderful, wonderful guy.
Barbara Zipper's on. She's in. Ray J, hello from Team GY6 Networking, as we were talking about today on Hot Topics with Z and Tuck. They're on Thursday nights. Look for Hot Topics with Z and Tuck, Z Zamaya, and Vincent D. Tucker. They are your hosts. They've added GY6 to do their interviews. That's Thursday nights, 10:30 Eastern, if you want to watch it live.
That's
though.
right. Or
I know
you
that's
can
a
go
lot
back
of-
the next morning
and watch it.
it.
And watch it. And I encourage that you do so. They've got a great show.
Great show.
Renee Stegall Shaw, one of my classmates, I swear, she says, was wondering if he was going to hush and let you answer the question, Joe.
Talking about you?
Yeah.
Feel the love.
And then she puts a mob. Well, that's all right, because I'm going to see Renee. You know, we've got a reunion coming up. You're still going, right?
Okay.
All right, that was the plan. So, I've got that's all right, Renee. I've got a little something for you. I wouldn't embarrass you at all in front of any of our classmates.
Oh.
Would I?
Hey, no, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't do that. Would I,
And,
Byron? You plead the fifth?
I can confirm, neither confirm.
You want to plead the fifth?
Nor deny that.
David?
Plausible deniability.
Okay.
Well, I want to mention we wish my nephew great
Yes!
over the next couple of weeks in this series that he's racing in up in Charlotte and Virginia and all over the place. So we're very proud sponsors of his
Oh,
farm.
my God. You need to see this, Dave. We got to take, when we get it, when Mitchell gets it all right, we're going to put it on our webpage.
Yep.
And we're also going to do it when we do a live show. This is so awesome. The sticker was actually too big.
Yes.
So what they did is they cut it, and they put OTS on the roof, right?
On the hood.
On the hood. OTS on the hood. And then on the bottom, where it curves around,
It says on the spot with David Rodgers.
like a split.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like that even better.
Right. Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and get with Trent Patterson at their showcase and probably go ahead and make another decal or two to send up there with
Right.
them and see if we wanted to keep it that way or change it up.
See if we can get a picture of it.
They are actually going to send us some
Yes,
photos.
photos. Mhm.
He races back again tomorrow, so he's going to be on the track. And if you have NBC Gold, you
Yes.
can actually
Watch it live.
Watch it live. That legend race.
Yeah.
So it's on NBC Gold.
Don't worry, Renee, I'll get you back. Jimmy Burnett is in. Janet Roll's in. Ray J's in. He's laughing. Mac Johns is in. Bonnie Stevens is on. Hello, Bonnie. How are you? Randy Brooks is in. Dave Holland's watching. Dave's in.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, you're in. Tammy Testone, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Dave, ready? Hello, LB. Yeah, you're in, Dave. Good grief. No, I'm lost. Missed show a while. She says I'm lost. She says she misses the show. Well, Bonnie, you can go back and watch the replays if you're busy. We love to have you live, but you can go back and watch the replays. So Bonnie Stevens says, "What game?" That is, what's the date? You haven't been on in a while, so we got a little game called What's the Date, where we read off some things that happen in a particular time frame, and then we'll give you 3 dates, and you try to guess the date. So if you guess it right, you get to be put into a drawing at the end of the month for a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. You happen to come on a great night, you're an automatic in. And if you watch it Tuesday, we're going to read that same question that we started. We just happen to have our interview. And guess what? You can get 2 entries within 3 days. And I bet you Miss Bagwell is probably going to say, because she's asking me, didn't get to hear the question. We didn't get a chance to finish it, Mom.
And
That's why you're an automatic in.
And I'm going to give them a clue.
Yeah.
It's going to be July of 20-something.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you like to explain that a little further?
I'm not going to give them the other part of the date.
Oh, okay.
I'm not giving them all of it.
It's called the Fall League, he said, Roy Jackson. Do they have, Bonnie says, do they have all-you-can-eat crab legs? I'm not sure of that, but I do know they have fried everything, and I know they do have boiled shrimp.
Yeah, they do.
So, yeah. So, I don't know about the crab legs. I can find out. Mitchell, your hair looks great. Michelle Lynn Blanton, do you know her?
Yep. A good old friend of mine.
Good deal. She says your hair looks great. Prayers to all the families. Bring it if you really got it. You got that right, classmate. Hey, you just opened up a can of worms and a challenge. I am going to bring it, and you're going to have to sing it. Do they need any food for family or drinks?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy. Bonnie says she's doing great. What did I make it in?
Are we going to get to hear It's Raining Men?
Maybe.
Oh, Lord.
How about that?
The show's going off the rails now, ladies
How about
and
that,
gentlemen.
Renee Stegall Shaw? I got a little something for you. Can't wait to see you. I wouldn't want to be you. Hey, guys. Yeah, Bonnie Stevens, you are in. Yes, you are.
Disclaimer: I do nothing of this.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say.
I promise you.
All right. Hey, it's getting about the quarter till the hour. We had a great interview with Joe Castello. We had a great show so far. I want to give you about a minute or so, minute and a half, for a final thought, and maybe what we got. Maybe you want to talk about what's coming up on the Tuesday show. I'll give you some time. I'll give Dave some time and Mitchell some time, and then I'll close her down.
Oh, my final thoughts for the night is sports related, and we can continue this on because it's sort of in the political realm too. In the last 2 weeks, we've had an athlete who has kneeled for the national anthem that is on the Olympics team. We've also had an athlete test positive for marijuana. Mm-hmm. Now, third athlete that has been qualified that is genetically a male that is participating in female sports because he's transitioned. We have one athlete that's being allowed to participate in a female sport that's genetically a man. We have a person that has kneeled for the national anthem, saying that they're going to do this, which the Olympics are not going to allow to happen there. They're disqualifying, but that's fine.
Yep. You will be disqualified.
Yeah.
And we have this other person that has been disqualified because they've tested not positive for marijuana, but substances that are in marijuana.
Right.
Now,
let me, if you don't mind, let me step in.
Sure.
Because I'm very familiar with this. When you are either a junior Olympian or an Olympian, once you become that Olympian athlete, you will get a card from the Olympic Committee.
That's correct.
What you can and cannot take.
That's correct.
As far as substances. And that stuff in marijuana that is also found in marijuana is on that list.
Sure.
That you cannot participate.
Sure.
And to the rule changes, that rule stands. And it's unfortunate. She is a wonderful runner.
Oh, yeah.
And what I hear is a wonderful person.
Yes.
Now, I heard, and if you've been following the story, she's had some personal conflict in her life. While she was qualifying, was it the mother that passed away?
Right.
It was her mother that passed away just a week earlier. And I'm not saying that you should go out and smoke marijuana. Please don't get me on that. Well, I'm just saying that she had a lot of things going on, and maybe, I'm not saying she did smoke or whatever, but maybe she took something, a drug, like Mitchell was saying, that maybe calmed her down, helped her calm her nerves down. Yeah. And it could be anything. We don't know.
I tell you what, on that ban list, you cannot, or on that drug list that you cannot take, you cannot even take Sudafed.
And
that's correct.
That's right.
Pseudoephedrine.
Because that stuff can be used as performance-enhancing drugs.
Here's my thing, and I'm going to leave it at this. You're telling me you're going to disqualify somebody for taking something that's in marijuana. You're telling me you're going to allow an athlete that has been disrespectful to their country, in my opinion, and that's my opinion. You can have your opinion of whatever you want. I'm allowed to have mine.
That's correct.
And you are going to let them actually continue to participate in the Olympics. You also have a man that, whether it changed or not, your DNA is the same, and your chromosomes are the same. You're still a man. Participate in a female sport.
Well, when it comes to the regular Olympic Committee, they may shoot that down before that person gets to participate in the Olympic Games in Tokyo.
I'm sorry, especially with the man that's transitioned to the woman, because he's lived part of his life as a male, and his body has developed as a male.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree with everything that you said. We had just a conversation.
I'm sorry. You do what you want to in your own personal life. That's your personal life. But when you start life as a male, you develop your body as a male in the sports that you're playing in, and then you have the transition that you had. Your body is going to react differently than most females.
Right, and that should be just like taking a substance.
It is because if a female is caught taking testosterone, that's another one.
That's another one.
Right.
That's it.
And males have more testosterone in their bodies than females do. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, fine, you do what you want to. That's your body. But to be allowed, be a man who's transitioned to be allowed to participate in female sports is ludicrous. If you want to transition and then continue to participate in male sports,
I have no issue with that.
that's not an issue.
Yeah, I have no issue.
But you genetically, you're still a man, and your chromosomes are still that of a male. I have some huge issues with things that are going on here.
And we're going to get into that a little more on Tuesday.
Huge issues.
Can we get in a little more
Oh,
on
yeah,
Tuesday?
yeah,
Because that is a great topic.
that's-
This is in the
yes.
political realm.
Yes, definitely.
Right. Dave Holland is good. Mitchell?
Hey, I just want to remind everybody on July the 24th,
That's right.
there is going to be a cruise-in style Jeep event going on
Yes.
downtown Stark. And if some people don't know what these ducks are for,
Oh, yeah.
but
yeah, Byron.
it's a Duck Duck Jeep. And what you do, if you have these miniature ducks and you come across somebody's Jeep that you really like,
You put it on there, right?
you put it on their vehicle for them to grab. So it's kind of like a memento of someone saying, "Hey, I like your vehicle."
Right.
So so we're getting ready for that on the 24th. There's a bunch of other events that's going to be coming up, different types of cruises. Cruises for cars, cruises for motorcycles. And Michael Heaters asked me to kind of help him
Yep.
get the things promoted, which I don't have no problem in doing. So we're going to talk a little bit more on that Tuesday night. Also,
I know the DJ for that event, too, by the way.
Yes, I do.
You better watch out, Renee.
And also, we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming county commissioner meeting that's going to take place this coming Thursday night on Tuesday night show. What's going to be on that agenda? So, and you probably want to be there for that meeting because it will be talking about financing and budgets for the upcoming year.
Yeah.
So very important stuff. And one of those things that's in there is funding for our fire department.
Yeah, definitely.
So please attend that meeting. Like I said, we'll talk about it Tuesday night.
Also, we have some upcoming guests. Y'all know there's a very important race going on, and that's the Stark Chief of Police. We have two candidates. We have the incumbent, which is Mr. Jeff Johnson, and he's got a running mate right now that's going to be running against him, and that's going to be Mr. Bill Murray.
That's correct.
Dave has actually reached out to both gentlemen. Can I say it, Dave? Is it solidified with Jeff?
Yes, 23rd.
So mark this on your calendar. July 23rd show, we will have one of those candidates, Mr. Jeff Johnson, on with us. He is the incumbent. He is right now, the chief of police here in Stark. And we are waiting on a final word, right, Dave, from Bill Murray?
Yes, sir.
For him to join us. I believe that election is when, gentlemen? August 7th, August 10th, something like that?
I will have that on
Tuesday?
Tuesday. I want to
Okay.
make sure I don't want to throw a date out there and be incorrect, but it is in the month of August.
Right. Also, in along with that is we were going to have a city clerk, right? Position, is that right? That was was supposed to be in run, right?
Correct, and
But
that was unopposed.
That's unopposed.
So Jimmy Crosby is going to be your city
The
clerk.
city clerk.
And also with the city commissioners that was up for re-election.
Yes.
They were all unopposed as well, and we kind of touched base on that at our last show.
Well, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try to send an invitation just to see if he'd like to, see if Jimmy Crosby would like to come on the show and hang out with us and maybe answer some questions from the viewers.
Right.
If he'd want to do that. We try to give every candidate of course, they're sharing their time.
Right.
We've had a lot of candidates on with some of the races we had last year. Had Will Hartley, Stacy Creighton. So we're trying to give Buddy a little bit of fair share. And I know Jimmy's unopposed, but if he want to come on the show and answer some of the viewers' questions, absolutely, we would love to have you. All you got to do is reach out to any one of us, Jimmy, and we can set that up. Am I missing any other races?
No, I think that's
pretty
about
much it.
covered. The only thing that's going to be on the ballot is for chief of police. So
Yeah. Okay. David said, if you're a cyclist, which I know Dave is a big-time cyclist, he used to love to do that, he says you can't drink 6 cups of coffee without being disqualified.
Caffeine.
imagine.
Caffeine, I would assume so.
Yeah, and that's also,
Makes sense.
That is also in that list.
Is
Caffeine.
it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You can't sit there and drink caffeinated drink
Yes.
after caffeinated drink.
If I can find my old list or get an updated list, we'll bring it in on one of our sports nights, and we'll go over some of the drugs that are prohibited by the Olympic Committee.
Well, I imagine probably Gatorade is probably on that list then.
My thing with the whole entire thing is not that the lady should be allowed
No.
to participate,
Right.
Because she broke the rules. But
If you're going to let the others break the rules too, why should you hold her
why
to
should
a
you
different
hold
standard?
her? I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna just,
Yeah.
you can't just pick and choose which rules you're gonna. I mean, you can't do that.
Right.
Bonnie, I'd like to get in on that on Tuesday and piggyback it off of Byron's, if you don't mind. She says, don't they let females participate in male sports? Or just in high school?
Well, no, she's right.
She
because
is right.
They did allow a kicker kick a football
For Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
For Vanderbilt.
That's absolutely fine.
Right. Because she didn't change herself.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you have a male, because you cannot change your DNA
No,
or
you
your
can't. Or your
chromosomes,
chromosomes.
participating in a female sport
Right.
as a female, and that's dishonest. Period.
I'll have Mitchell look into this. Bonnie says, she got a lot of questions. She says, hey guys, they said Brooker is now considered Alachua County. Brooker Elementary closed for good. Yes, they are
It
closed
is
for
closed.
good.
Yes.
And is Brooker considered?
No, it is still Bradford.
That's what I thought. So I don't know where you're hearing that from, but we'll double check it.
Yeah,
I've never heard that. Have you? No, it's always
it's
to me
still
Bradford
Bradford
County.
County.
That's
It will be.
Bradford County, and if Alachua County is trying that, it's because Gainesville is trying to save their skin.
Bonnie Stevens, Jimmy Crosby is. He ran unopposed. He didn't have an opponent, so he is going to be Stark's city clerk. So there you go. Let's see here. Lydia Morris is on, and of course, Bonnie says, all right, on behalf of the Byron Bagwell, the Minister of Defense, and one of the new high priests of the Church of the Faithful Truth. Right here, producing our show. He did have a cameo appearance in Hairspray, and he was Ricky Lake's boyfriend in that movie, Super Dave Holland. And of course, a song written about this young man right here back in 1976 by Rupert Holmes. He does own a bar called O'Malley's. Mitchell Machine Gunner. And of course, myself, your host, David Rodgers. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And we will see you Tuesday with a lot of great stuff, gentlemen. Good night, everyone. God bless.
Good night,
Go
infidels.
Tornadoes, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.